Shalom, Mishpacha. Hope everyone is having a great morning. It is Tuesday, June 19th. And, the weather here in the Bay Area is so crazy. It starts off, this is the past few days. It starts off like this weird overcast to where it feels like fall. And then by late afternoon, it gets really warm. Anyway, not as warm as the East Coast or the Midwest, because to us, warm is like 70, 80 degrees is hot. So, yeah, 70, 75 degrees is like warm. But, yeah, that was a friend of mine I had to wave to. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to y'all this morning. Time is quickening. When I say, and it's not just me saying that now or thinking it, I look at my YouTube channel, I look at the last day or the last date that I uploaded a video, and it says like 6-7 days or a week ago, and I'm like, wow, it's crazy. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here and fellowship with y'all for a minute and talk about something that I've been seeing a lot lately, that just reminds me that who Abba is directing and who he's not directing. So I think I'm going to title this video, Knowing Your Audience, because there's a lot of terms and a lot of things thrown out there all the time by people who honestly really think they know what they're talking about, and they don't. And I say that because when you've been a witness to something, like myself, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. I left my mother's home when I was 16. It was my choice. I just refused to bend to that cult any longer. I was well over the age of knowing what exactly I wanted to do, and I left my mother's home, and that hurt her, but it's a cult. And I know several people who have been in that cult and who are still there. Some who even are there that recognize it's a cult and are in that bondage, and they know it, but they have no choice. They feel like they don't have a choice but to be there because they are, in bondage, either by their husbands, either by the leadership, or they literally, not just a thought, but they literally feel like they will be cursed down by their God, Jehovah. So it's definitely a mind thing. Not only that, but also, my gosh, their family, losing their family is also what keeps them there, because if they choose to leave, their families are encouraged to abandon them, not talk to them, not speak to them, not have anything to do with them, whether it's their mother, their spouse, their children, their grandchildren. And some of these people were born into this religion. They were born into this cult. So they have generations on top of generations that they would have to come to grips and to terms with not speaking to those people ever again in life, ever again, unless Elohim does his thing and dramatically does a turnabout in their hearts. But it's rare that last circumstance happens where Elohim, Yahweh, tugs at the family's heart and they all leave together, or they all the family says, well, you know what, I don't care what you believe, I'm still going to talk to you because you're my son, or you're my daughter, or you're my husband, we have to live together. But trust me, there are some who are married, and I know this as a fact, who the spouses, they don't communicate because the Kingdom Hall, the church, whatever, encourages them to not speak to their husband, to not speak to them, to not engage with them, only talk or deal with them when it has to do with maybe, I think, finances or something like that. But sometimes they just leave them. They'll leave them. They won't divorce them because that's against the church policy, of course, but they might just separate from them, get their own place, or, you know, these are just the surface wicked idioms of a cult. So I say that to say that when people have the nerve, and it's really, I shouldn't say the nerve, but when people ignorantly make blanket statements like, oh, you're following a cult, or the way he talks it's like he's becoming a cult leader. No. And that tells me you don't know what you're talking about. And if you had any idea of what a true cult was, you wouldn't even make that statement. And so I say this, that if you or someone that you know has said these things, ask them these questions. Well, the folks that follow him or that subscribe to him, do they put him above Elohim? Do they put him above God, Jesus, Yeshua? Have they referenced his teachings above Elohim? Do they say, oh, this person says, or do they say the Father says? You know, have they made their way of living about what that person has put out there? Or are they making their way of living about what the Father has said? And what the Word, the living Word, the written Word, the Ruach HaKodesh has led them to say? See, these are all things of a cult. And if you look at it and you honestly can say, or that person that you present this information to can say, no, they don't, well, then it's not a cult. It's just not. And you're talking and walking in blind ignorance. I was looking for other videos similar to this, but you know, Abba leads me to do my own thing and keep it real. And just give you my example, you know. And this is just a little bit of my story. But yeah, I was raised in that cult, to where I was literally told by family members in my own home that I was an apostate, that I was demonic, that I was full of demons, and that I would have a very hard life outside of Jehovah's organization. So, you know, again, that's just surface. You know, in the Jehovah's Witness cult, if you are baptized, then you are considered one of them. Okay? So praise Abba, I never was baptized because, again, from my youth, I never felt that was the truth. So I never got baptized. But if I had gotten baptized years ago, then each time a Jehovah's Witness would run into me and they would find out that they are obligated to ignore me, not speak to me, regardless if it's family or not. Now, again, this goes back to people saying, oh, you're in a cult, he's a cult leader. If you choose to unsubscribe to a particular person and follow a different channel, will you be ignored and ridiculed and considered as evil or wicked just because you choose to follow a different teaching? Now, following a different teaching is completely different than going somewhere else, walking in someone else's house, and ridiculing or speaking down or evil on the house you came from. That's completely different. Now, in that case, you are making a choice that you don't want anything else to do with the house that you came from, you know? And so in that case, yes, of course, no, you aren't going to be socialized with or fellowshipped with, because in that case, you have shown that you have no desire to be a part of that anymore. And I say this about Elohim's house, us worshiping and fellowshipping together as in one shoulder. If you choose to go your own way, we're all members, we're all individual members, but one shoulder, one body. If you choose to detach from the body and do something completely different, which is going your own way and not Elohim's way, well then of course, why would we fellowship with someone that is willfully doing wicked against the house of YHWH? No. It's just common sense to me. It's just common sense. So, you know, again, following a cult, I haven't seen anyone commit suicide from finding out that Jehovah is not the real name of the Almighty Creator. But in a cult they did. Several cases of people whose lives have completely been destroyed because they thought they had the truth. Which leads me to something else. Knowing your audience. So, you know, I've talked to a couple of people, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, ex-Mormons, and this would even apply to ex-Muslims, you know. I don't know any personally, but, you know, there's some on YouTube. But especially an ex-Christian, this always gets me, right? And you might have ran into some people like this, where they say, oh, I grew up in the church, or in my case, I grew up in the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses, and man, when I found out all that wasn't true, I just didn't know what to believe. So now I'm just an atheist. I don't believe in anything. So my rebuttal to that, and I have heard this, my rebuttal to that is, well, you never did. You never believed then. You never believed in YHWH. You never believed in Elohim. How could you? If my father, who his name was Robert Wilkerson, he's in the Shamayim now, but his name is Robert Wilkerson. If I found out that his name was something different, if I found out some lies that man had told me about my father, would that make me not believe or love him? No, I would be upset, and I would want to know the truth about who he is, which would thus have me draw closer and more intimately with him. But for me to say I don't believe him or trust him because of what lies someone else told me, absolutely not. So that's my rebuttal. You never did. How could you? How could it be? How was it ever in your heart if it's not there anymore? You know, there is not one person in my life from my past that I have genuinely loved, regardless of what happened to them or where they are in their life right now, that I can honestly say I don't love them anymore. I still love these people in my heart. There's no one in my life. No one. And this includes anyone that has lied to me, that I've lied to in the past, that have stole from me. If I love you in my heart, I still love you. Loving someone and tolerating, you know, a bunch of foolishness is completely different. Believing in something and tolerating a bunch of foolishness is completely different. So if you love the Father, that's been in you. When I learned these lies about the cult that my mother died an advocate over almost 30 years being a devout Jehovah's Witness, a regular pioneer, when I learned the lies right after she passed away, I wanted to know the truth. Because because he had made me a witness throughout my life that regardless of what his name was, he was there in my life and seen me and got me through things that nobody, no other entity on this earth or in spiritual places could have done. So I wanted to know his name. I wanted to stick to his name because I wanted to be able to call on the name above all names, who I knew was true. Whether his name, and at that point, I didn't care what his name was. I just wanted to know his name. And it was a blessing when I was led, very quickly, might I add, because my heart was there. And he is the reader of hearts. He always knows our audience. We might not know because we don't know the hearts of men. We don't know the rightful hearts of men. But he does. And he'll put people by our path and it will show with their fruit what the audience is, who the audience is, who can we talk to, who can we witness to, who's going to take this and love everything that we have to say because the Ruach is bringing them to us, and who's not. And how will we know that? Because he will send them to us. It never fails. It never fails. Yahweh is good to his promises. He's good to his promises. And his blessings, his Beraha is new every single morning. Why? Because this is the day that Yahweh has made. Let us rejoice, be thankful, be kind, be pleasant, be eagerly waiting in his waiting room. Kawa on Yahweh. Be glad in it. Amen and amen. You have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Shalom.